Hey guys and girls, it's interactive read aloud time, and we are reading Mayor Hubble is in Trouble by Dan Gutman, pictures by Jim Paylott. Okay, now we have already finished reading chapters 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So today we're going to continue on with 5 and 6. But before we do, let's review our vocabulary words, and then we'll also do a quick summary of what we have already learned in chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's start with the two vocabulary words that we have already found in our book as we've been reading. The first one that we found was the word election. Now remember, election is the process of voting to choose a person for a job or position. And if you remember back in chapters 1 and 2, the principal of elementary school has decided that there's going to be an election to vote a class president for each grade. Okay, and Andrea and AJ have actually decided to run for class president of 3rd grade. So they're going to have to go through the election process and be voted in. Okay, so that's one that we've already found. The second word that we've already found, and we've noticed this one in chapters 3 and 4, is the word slogan. A slogan is a word or phrase used by a group to attract attention. Usually slogans are pretty catchy and they stick in your mind. Sometimes you might find yourself singing them, or if you notice like the M or the slogan, I'm loving it, we always think back to McDonald's. Burger King's slogan is have it your way. Subway's slogan is eat fresh. Nike's slogan is just do it. And when we see those slogans, it's just catchy and it's just something to help you remember, so that when it's time to vote for that person or to go to a restaurant or to buy certain shoe or clothes, that you'll think of that slogan. So that's why they make it catchy. Okay, so a slogan is a word or phrase used by a group to attract attention. And a lot of politicians use this when they're trying to get you to vote for them in the upcoming election. Slogan came up in our book because Alexia thought that it might be a good idea for AJ to have a slogan to get people to vote for him. And so that's where this word came in to play in our book. And she actually I thought she had a pretty good slogan for AJ's class president election. She says, AJ puts the cool in school. So it's just something kind of catchy that can help you remember who to vote for when it's time. Okay? Okay, so the next 3 words that we've been looking at, we have not come across them in our read aloud yet, but they are the words wholesome. Wholesome means to be someone or something in good condition or having good values. So if you are a wholesome person, like this young man in this clip art, he is wholesome because he has good values, because he's helping an older lady. Also, vegetables would be a wholesome meal for you to eat because they are in good condition. They're good for you. So anything that is wholesome is in good condition or has good values. So we're going to continue looking for this word. The other word that we want to pay attention for is the word disqualified. Disqualified means that it has been proven to be unfit, or it has been made to be unfit. And there's an X right here for disqualified, because if you are disqualified from an election or from some sports event, they usually kick you out, or you're not allowed to play, or you have to take some kind of time out because maybe you broke the rules or you didn't follow all of the instructions carefully if you're disqualified. So you've been proven unfit in some kind of way. So pay attention for that word. And then the last word that I want us to try to recognize is this word, slinking. And the word slinking means to move or sneak in a creepily manner. So if you're creeping along and you're trying to be sneaky and you're moving kind of slowly like this sly fox is in this picture, then you are slinking. Okay, so those are our 3 words that we're going to try to pay attention to. Okay, so far when we ended chapter 4 last time we read, they had a super secret strategy session. AJ and his boys and Alexa had a super secret strategy session up in the clubhouse or up in the treehouse, and they were just discussing what they could do to help AJ win this class presidential election. And that's when Alexia thought that it would be a good idea for him to come up with a slogan. But towards the end of chapter 4, remember, Mayor Hubble popped his head in. Okay. Now, nobody knows how Mayor Hubble knew they were there. But Mayor Hubble pretty much said, don't tell anybody I was here. But if you want to win this class election against Andrea, then you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. So that means you let me help you. I'll help you if you help me. Because what's Mayor Hubble wanting to do? He's wanting to win the election for mayor. And he knows that he's already got a bad background because he's already been in jail for stealing the gold off the playground. So he knows that there might not be a lot of people voting for him in this election because he did something that was not so good. So Mayor Hubble is trying to work with AJ and his boys up in the treehouse, and he said, I'll help you out if when you win the class president election, you'll help me out and you'll tell all the parents of the third graders to vote for me in the mayor election. So they have agreed to do that. AJ and the boys have agreed to do that to help Mayor Hubble out, and they've decided to keep it a secret from everybody. So we're going to start chapter 5. The title of chapter 5 is Yuck, Kissing, Gross. When I got to school the next day, kids and parents were sitting all over the front steps. There were posters, banners, and signs hanging on the fence. Vote for Andrea, gifted, talented, and ready. That's her slogan. And AJ puts the cool in school. There's his slogan. So you can see those banners that were hanging up when he showed up at school this morning. So here's Andrea's. Gifted, talented, and ready, and then AJ puts the cool in school. Ryan, Michael, and Neil the nude kid were standing around in black t-shirts with their arms crossed in front of them and scowls on their face. That means they were looking tough and rough. What's up with you guys? I asked. We're your bodyguards, Ryan told me. We have to look mean. Yes, said Neil the nude kid. Somebody might try to attack you. So here they are. Here's his buddies, dressed up like bodyguards. And in real life, the president does have bodyguards that do help protect him and keep him safe. So they're trying to be AJ's bodyguards. If somebody messes with you, we'll take care of them, said Michael, punching a fist into his open hand. You ever seen anybody do that? That means they're for real. Who told you to dress like that? I asked. And who made all these signs? They all looked over at the sidewalk where Mayor Hubble was leaning against a telephone pole. He winked at me, and I went over to him. Andrea was up at the top of the steps, standing at a podium. So, in conclusion, Andrea said, that's why you should vote for me to be the president of the third grade. Thank you. The kids sitting on the steps clapped and cheered and waved little flags for Little Miss Perfect. Great job, Andrea, said Mr. Klutz. Now it's time to hear from the other candidate for third grade president, AJ. What? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. Nobody told me I had to give a speech, I whispered to Mayor Hubble. Don't worry about it, he said, slipping me a sheet of paper. Just read this. What is it? It's your stump speech. You want me to speak to people with no legs? I asked. Not that kind of stump, the mayor said. A stump speech is a standard political speech that you give over and over and over again. I climbed the steps and I stood behind the podium. Everybody was clapping and cheering like crazy. I was nervous. I had never given a speech before. I started to read from the piece of paper that Mr. Hubble gave me. All right, now here is Mayor Hubble sneakily handing AJ the paper that he wants him to read for his speech. Okay, let's see what he says. 77 years ago, I said, I had a dream. I had a dream that the ballot was stronger than the bullet. The pen was mightier than the sword. And those who stand for nothing fall for anything. Now, fellow students, I've been to the mountaintop and I can tell you this. Ask not what your school can do for you, ask what you can do for your school. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Give me liberty or give me death. Read my lips, tear down this wall. The time for change has come. No man is an island, but if you vote for me, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness shall not perish from this earth. Thank you. What did that mean? Everybody was going crazy. Alexia was the first one to congratulate me. That was terrific, AJ. What did I just say? I asked. Who cares, she replies. Listen to that applause. On the other side of the steps, I saw that Andrea was going around shaking hands with everybody. So I figured I had to do that too. So here AJ is. He has just finished. There he is on the podium, on the stage, reading his speech that Mayor Hubble has given him. And you can tell he's sweating. His eyes are looking a little bit nervous. And he must be yelling because his mouth is wide open. And you can see even how the people in the audience are reacting. Their hands are up. They're cheering. So they liked the speech, even though it didn't really make much sense. I figured I had to do that too. So my bodyguards surrounded me as I walked around shaking hands with people on the sidewalk. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. Some lady stuck a baby in my face. Ah! I screamed. What is the baby doing here? It's too young to be in school. Never mind that, AJ, Alexia whispered. Kiss the baby. I'm not kissing a baby, I replied. I don't even like kissing my mother when people are around. Kissing babies is part of running for an office, AJ, said Michael. You have to do it. Why? I asked. Babies can't vote. You don't want to kiss my baby? Asked the lady. She looked all sad. AJ, it will look bad if you don't kiss the baby, said Ryan. You're going to lose the election and Andrea will be president. And if you don't kiss the baby, said Neil, that means you love Andrea. I do not, I protested. Kiss it, AJ, said Alexia. I looked at the baby. The baby looked at me. It was drooling. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I wish I could just run away to Antarctica and live with the penguins. Here's AJ looking at the baby, and he is drooling. Look at there. I kissed the baby, and when I leaned over to kiss the baby, I'm pretty sure I smelled something bad. I think the baby pooped, I yelled. Ugh, disgusting, I thought. I was gonna die. Chapter 6, On the Stump. Later that day, Mayor Hubble showed up at the playground at recess. Man, ever since he got out of jail, that guy sure has a lot of time on his hands. He's just popping up everywhere. The gang and me were playing on the monkey bars when the mayor came over. It's time to go on the stump, AJ. Do you want me to stand on a tree that was cut down? Not that kind of stump, Mayor Hubble said. All right, now look, here's our asterisk. And remember, when we see the asterisk in this book, it gives us little footnotes about what's going on. So Mayor Hubble says, not that kind of stump. And then down here, the little footnote says, okay, I promise there won't be any more stump jokes. That's what AJ's telling us. I mean, you've got to campaign for votes. Campaign is when you go out and try to get the community to vote for you. You can have commercials on TV. You can do radio commercials. You can put signs out when people are driving by and they see them. You can actually go knock on door to door and tell people to vote for you. So when you go to campaign, that's one way to try to get more votes when you're in an election. Andrea was standing on the top of the swing set nearby. A bunch of kids were gathered on the ground listening to her talk. When I'm president of the third grade, Andrea said, I promise there will be plenty of pencils and paper and glue sticks and scissors and crayons in every class. Elementary school will be the best school in the state. Yay! Everybody was cheering, and the gang turned and looked at me. What are you going to promise to do when you're president, AJ? Asked Mayor Hubble. How should I know? Andrea is making all kinds of promises, said Ryan, so you've got to make some promises too if you want to win. What kind of promises? I asked. It doesn't matter, said Mayor Hubble, as long as you get the kids to vote for you. I climbed up on the top of the monkey bars. Attention, third graders, I shouted. I have an important announcement. All the kids who were listening to Andrea came over to the monkey bars. When I'm president of the third grade, I shouted, I promise there will be no more homework. Yay! Everybody started chanting, no more homework, no more homework. Andrea had on a mean face. I have an important announcement, she shouted. Some of the kids went back over to her. When I'm president, we will have fewer fire drills. That way, we'll be able to spend more time learning. Yay! Could she possibly be any more boring? All right, now here they are. So we've got AJ on the monkey bars, Andrea's on the swing set, and they're both making promises. And as they're both making promises, the kids are running back cheering for AJ. And then when she starts, they're going back over there and cheering for her. And they're going back and forth and back and forth. And look at Mayor Hubble. He's got some kind of little smirk on his face. I wonder if what he's thinking. Maybe he has another plan in mind. I shouted to Andrea, when I'm president, we'll have more fire drills. In fact, we'll have a fire drill every day with real fires. Yay! Andrea looked madder than ever. The kids didn't know if they should listen to her or me, so they started running back and forth between us. When I'm president, Andrea shouted, every student in the school will get their own iPad. You won't have to carry a heavy backpack anymore because all your books will be on your iPad. Yay! When I'm president, I shouted, there will be a video game system put into every desk in the school. Yay! And then Andrea says, when I'm president, the water fountains will be filled with lemonade. Yay! And then here's AJ again. When I'm president, every day will be a snow day, even if there's no snow. And we're going to have rain days too. After all, rain is just extremely wet snow. Yay! And furthermore, AJ shouted, we're going to take all the hard words out of the dictionary. And we're going to abolish anything higher than the 5 times tables. Kids will no longer have to sit in the corner when they misbehave. We're going to make all the classrooms round so there will be no corners. And all the teachers will be fired and replaced by comic book superheroes. Yay! Top that, Andrea, I shouted in your face. Andrea was really mad. It looked like she couldn't think of anything else to promise. If you vote for me, she finally shouted, I'll give each of you $1. Everyone gasped. Then they started cheering, yay! And here's AJ. If you vote for me, I shouted, I'll give you $2. Yay! I'll give you $3 in a candy bar, shouted Andrea. Yay! We went back and forth like that for a while. Making promises is fun. All right, that's the end of chapter 6. We actually did not come across any of our vocabulary words. Slinking, disqualified, and wholesome. But we will continue reading next week with chapter 7. And hopefully we'll come across some of those vocabulary words. I hope you guys enjoyed reading chapters 5 and 6 with me today. And I look forward to finishing the book with you next week. Have a great day.